Hello students, the topic for today's session is coupling. In this session, we are going to discuss introduction of coupling, purpose of coupling, requirement of good coupling, types of couplings, muff couplings, and a design procedure for muff coupling. Coming to the introduction, let us see what a coupling is. A coupling is a mechanical device which is used to connect two shafts so that power is transmitted from one shaft to another. When one shaft rotates, the coupling which connects the other shaft transmits the motion and thereby the other shaft also rotates. For example, the output shaft of a motor may be connected to input shaft of a compressor by means of a coupling. In this case, power is transmitted from the motor to the compressor through the coupling and thereby the compressor runs. Thus, the main purpose of the coupling is to transmit the power or motion from one shaft to another. The shafts to be connected may be perfectly aligned, as in the case of a rigid coupling, or may be having lateral or angular misalignment, as in the case of a flexible coupling. Also, the shafts may be used to absorb shocks and vibrations, as in the case of a flexible coupling. Now, coming to the purpose of the coupling, the most common purpose of the coupling are first one to provide connection between any two shafts. So we know that the couplings are used to connect two shafts so that the power is transmitted from one shaft to another. For example, the motor shaft may be connected to the pump shaft by means of a coupling in order to transmit the power from motor to pump by means of a coupling. So another purpose of the coupling is to provide for misalignment of the shafts. Sometimes shafts having lateral or angular misalignment are to be connected. In this case, flexible couplings are used like Voldam's coupling or universal coupling. Voldam's couplings are used to connect two parallel shafts offset by small distance. Universal coupling is used to connect shafts which are inclined to each other by some angle. So another purpose of the coupling is to reduce the transmission of shock loads from one shaft to another. Coupling absorbs the impact energy and dampen the vibration, thereby it reduces the transmission of shock loads. Also, it protects against overload. And another purpose of coupling is it provides for disconnection for repairs or alteration. So it is possible to connect or disconnect the coupling whenever required for the purpose of repairs and alterations. So also to get required length of the shaft. So usually shafts are available in standard sizes up to 7-meter length. In order to have larger lengths, it becomes necessary to connect two or more shafts by means of a coupling. Now coming to the requirement of a good coupling. A good coupling should have the following requirements. It should be easy to connect or disconnect. As for the purpose of repair and alterations, it must be easily connected or disconnected. It is one of the requirement of a good coupling. It should transmit the full power from one shaft to another shaft without losses. The main purpose of the coupling is to connect one shaft to the another so that the power is transmitted from one shaft to another. It should keep the two shafts in proper alignment. So, as in the case of a rigid coupling, the shafts must be perfectly aligned. So, it's one of the requirement. It should reduce the transmission of shock loads from one shaft to another. The coupling must absorb the impact energy and dampen the vibration, thereby it reduces the transmission of shock loads. It should not have any projecting parts. The projecting parts of the coupling must be properly covered in order to avoid accidents and damage. Now coming to the types of the couplings. Couplings are mainly divided into two groups. The first one is rigid coupling and the second one is flexible coupling. Now coming to the rigid coupling, it is used to connect two shafts which are perfectly aligned. So that means the shafts are collinear, and also they do not permit any relative motion between them. Thus, the main feature of the rigid coupling is the shafts are perfectly aligned, and there will be no relative motion between the shaft and the coupling. Examples for the rigid coupling are: the first one is sleeve or muff coupling, second one split muff coupling or compression coupling, and the third example is flange coupling. So in case of a muff coupling, a cast iron muff is used to connect the two shafts with the help of a key. The two shafts are in a perfect alignment so that the power is transmitted from one shaft to another. The main feature of the uh, muff coupling is the shafts are in a perfect alignment. Now coming to the in case of a split muff coupling, the muff is made up of two parts and are bolted together. Here also the shafts are in a perfect alignment and motion is transmitted from one shaft to another. The main feature of the muff coupling, split muff coupling is it can be assembled or disassembled without changing the position of the shaft. So in case of a flange coupling, two flanges are used to connect the two shafts. Flanges are bolted together so that the two shafts are in a perfect alignment. In this case, power is transmitted from one shaft to another. So another type of decoupling is flexible coupling. It is used to connect two shafts having both lateral and angular misalignment. Here, lateral misalignment means shafts are parallel but offset by small distance. And angular misalignment means the shafts are inclined to each other at some angle. And also the another feature of the flexible coupling is they permit relative motion and variation in the alignment of shafts within certain limits. The example for flexible coupling is bushed pin type coupling, universal coupling, and Oldham's coupling. So in case of a bushed pin type coupling, it is a modification of the flange coupling, and bushed pin are used to connect two parts of the coupling. So the main advantage of this coupling is it can be used for slightly misaligned shafts. Also, it absorbs shocks and vibration. Universal coupling is used to connect two shafts inclined to each other. And Oldham's coupling is used for the parallel shafts offset by small distance. Now coming to the sleeve or muff coupling, it is a simplest type of rigid coupling. That means the two shafts to be connected are in a perfect alignment. It consists of a cast iron muff having a keyway throughout its length, and the inside diameter of the muff is equal to the shaft diameter, and these two shafts butt against each other in the middle of the muff, and a sunk key is driven through the shaft and the muff so that the two shafts are in a perfect alignment. Now the power is transmitted from one shaft to the another shaft through the key and muff. Here muff is nothing but it is a hollow shaft, and its inside diameter is equal to the diameter of the shaft. So in case of a muff coupling, the three important parts are the two shafts to be connected and a muff, that is a cylindrical part, and to connect the muff and the shafts in between you will have to drive use a key. So these are the important parts. The usual proportions of a muff couplings are as given below. The outer diameter of the muff capital D is equal to 2D plus 13 mm, where small d is the diameter of the shaft. And length of the muff, capital L is equal to 3.5D, where D is the diameter of the shaft. So these two dimensions, proportions are to be taken while designing the muff or sleeve. Now coming to the design procedure for muff coupling. So we know that it consists of three important elements. First one is the shafts to be connected, and the second one is muff, and the third one is a key. Thus, there will be three steps in the design procedure of the muff coupling. The first step is the design of the shaft. So we know that the power transmitted by the shaft is given by P equals 2 pi nt divided by 60 into 10 to the power 3 kilowatts, and therefore the torque transmitted by the shaft is given by T equals P into 60 into 10 to the power 3 divided by 2 pi n. By cross multiplication, we will get the torque transmitted by the shaft. So in this equation, power should be in kilowatt, and n is the speed in rpm, and the torque you are going to get in Newton meter. Also, the torque transmitted by the shaft is given by T equals pi by 16 tau s into d cube, where tau s is permissible shear stress for the shaft material in Newton per mm square, and d is the diameter of the shaft in mm. So by using this, we will get the torque transmitted by the shaft in Newton dash mm. So by substituting the value of T as obtained by equation 1, and we will get the diameter of the shaft is determined. Once the diameter of the shaft small d is determined, I should go for the standard size by referring the DDH, that is a table 3.5a and page number 57. Next step is design of the sleeve or muff. So first of all, you will have to select the proportions of the sleeve. That is the outer diameter of the sleeve d equals 2d plus 13 mm, and the small d is nothing but it is the diameter of the shaft. Its value is obtained in the previous step. And the second proportion is length of the sleeve, that is L is equal to 3.5d, and um, by substituting the diameter of the shaft, we can find out the outer diameter of the sleeve as well as length of the sleeve. Now you will have to check for these dimensions. The sleeve is designed by considering it as a hollow shaft. You know that torque transmitted by a hollow shaft T equals pi by 16 tau c into d to the power 4 minus d to the power 4 divided by d. So in this equation, tau c is nothing but it is the shear stress for the cast iron muff, and it is also equal to pi by 16 tau c d cube into 1 minus k to the power 4, where k is ratio of diameters small d to capital D. That is the ratio of diameter of the shaft to the diameter of the muff. So by using this equation, the first equation, we can get the value of tau c, that is the induced shear stress for the muff material. And if its value is lesser than the permissible value, then the design of the muff is safe. Now coming to the third step, that is the design of the key. First of all, you will have to select the width and thickness of the key based on the diameter of the shaft. So for this, we will have to refer the design data handbook, table 4.1, page number 69, and its value of W and T, that's width and thickness, depends upon the diameter of the shaft. So the whatever the value small d we have calculated earlier, so refer for that particular diameter and find out the W as well as the T of the key. Next, calculate the length of the key in each shaft is equal to capital L divided by 2. That is the length of the muff divided by 2. So we know that the length of the muff is equal to 3.5 d. So divided by 2. Then we can calculate the length of the key also. So the three dimensions of the key is obtained now. W and T from the design data handbook, and the length of the key is equal to length of the muff divided by 2. Now let us design check for the key. Um First of all, considering the shearing of the key, because there will be two types of the failures. One is the shearing of the key, another one is the crushing of the key. Now considering first the shearing of the key, we know that the torque transmitted T equals L into W into tau K into D by 2, where L is length of the key, W is the width of the key, tau K is shear stress induced in the key material, and D is the diameter of the shaft. So by using this equation, we can determine, we can calculate tau K, that is a shear stress induced in the key material, and its value should be lesser than the permissible shear stress. Then the design of the key is safe under shearing. Similarly, considering crushing of the key, we know that the torque transmitted T equals L into T by 2 into sigma C into D by 2, where L is length of the key, T is the thickness of the key, sigma C is the crushing stress for the key material, and D is the diameter of the shaft. So substituting the values here, we can calculate sigma C, that is the crushing stress for the key material. If its value is lesser than the permissible crushing stress, then the design of the key is safe under crushing. Thus, the key is to be checked for the shearing as well as the crushing, and respective stresses. If they fall within the permissible values, then the design of the key is safe. Now coming to the some of the multiple choice questions. The first one, the sleeve or muff coupling is designed as a thin cylinder, thick cylinder, solid shaft, hollow shaft. So answer is here hollow shaft, because muff is nothing but it is a hollow, it is considered as a hollow shaft. Therefore, the sleeve or muff coupling is designed as a hollow shaft. Second question, rigid coupling is used to connect two shafts which are perfectly aligned, which are not in exact alignment, which have lateral misalignment, whose axes intersect at a small angle. The answer is first one, which are perfectly aligned. So we know that rigid coupling is used to connect two shafts which are perfectly aligned. So the answer is E. Now coming to the third question. If D is the diameter of shaft, the length of the muff in muff coupling is given by empirical formula. So L is equal to 3.5 D. Length of the muff is equal to 3.5 into D, where D is the diameter of the shaft. If D is the diameter of the shaft, the outer diameter of muff in muff coupling is given by empirical formula 2D plus 13 mm, where D is the diameter of the shaft, then 2D plus 13 mm will give the if D is the, the outer diameter of the muff. Now, fifth question, Oldham coupling is used to connect two shafts which are perfectly aligned, which are not in exact alignment, have lateral misalignment, whose axes intersect at a small angle. Answer is C, have lateral misalignment. So lateral misalignment means shafts are parallel but offset by small distance. So Oldham coupling is used for shafts having lateral misalignment. Thank you.